Hi everyone, it's Darren Benton with Performance Motorcoaches. Really excited about doing a walkthrough video of it's available as of this video being shot here. So we are at our place up in Michigan, which is about a mile from our house in Elkhart. I'm up here just to do some pictures and photos. Obviously it's much nicer backdrop than West Texas. Really digging the fall weather. The older I get, the more it relaxes me to have the fall weather. So we'll jump back in the unit. So this isn't available. This is a 2025 Renegade XL. It is the 43 dB. Now, this is essentially a bath and a half coach. Our kind of number two in the XL, number one and number two are the 45 dBm. Now the difference is basically where the seating gets placed. You have a third seating group on the 45. Now, I ran the numbers earlier just so people know the 43 dB versus the 45 dBm is 17 inches different. So there's not a huge difference between those two. So if you're thinking you're buying a 43 because you're buying a short unit versus a 45 buying a little bit longer unit, 17 inches is really kind of your number. Obviously pretty close to 24 inches, but there's not too big of a difference there. I would say buy more off of color and floor plan preference than anything else. Just kind of wanted to kind of get the information out there on truly kind of what the difference is. Now, all the XLs you can get on a Cascadia, and now you can get them on a Western Star, which is relatively kind of a cousin to the Cascadia. I personally think the Cascadia just looks better on the XL. Everything kind of fills in, more aerodynamic looking. We've sold some Western Stars with other manufacturers, but this is kind of my go-to. In fact, this is my chassis that I brought in. Brought a handful of Cascadias. This was one that I brought over to Renegade. They're able to accommodate me with an XL. Now, what's different about my chassis is that I do some things from the factory, like factory overinflate, heated cool seats from the factory, lots of adjustability, more safety features in the chassis in that it will actually read your speed limit signs. It'll alert you on your speed limit. So a few things that I think that make the chassis more valuable than the chassis that they bring in. I understand they bring them in the way they do, just kind of matter of preference. But 126, so this is 600 horsepower. It is the DD16, so it's 15.6 liters, 1850 torque, and it is mated to the DT12, which is the Detroit transmission, 12-speed transmission. So just kind of my premier chassis. The reason why I like Cascadia, you see all the fleet guys. You can get a guy that maybe didn't drive a vehicle in his entire life will come over to the US and get in the Cascadia. They are easy to drive, very, very simple. We get spouses that like to drive these, and so to me, the Cascadia, bar none, is the easiest driving truck out there, compared to like a Peterbilt, Kenworth, International, any of those things. Very close to on the Western Star, but we'll go ahead and get going because it's starting to rain here. Not going to bother me too much, but we might get some water drops. So the big picture windows here. I apologize, I already missed one thing. So from some conversations with Renegade, we were able to get a few more clearance lights up top there. Just kind of ties it all in, similar to what they were doing on the Icons in the past. Just kind of a wow factor. So more clearance lights down the side, the top, and the rear, which just kind of ties everything in. To me, gives it a pretty classy look. This does have the factory equipped stainless with the chrome baggage handles. That can be optioned black, that can be optioned basically with no trim on there whatsoever. We really couldn't pull that trim off after the fact because we'd probably damage all of that paint underneath. So we sold several 43 dBs in 24, weren't necessarily happy with the configuration of all the storage. We were able to kind of work with those guys and get everything changed up. So in years past, you had the Aqua Hot right on your right rear. We're able to move that over, move the batteries over. I think this is kind of the premier storage setup right here. So you have the combined storage compartments. It comes standard with the 2 inverters, standard with the lithium batteries as well for 2025. And then we were able to regain our 3/4 pass-through right here, which to me is an extremely valuable compartment. Central vac is standard, so bed lined all the compartments as well. It does have the under body lights on it, color changing. Now this is an optional light right here that we added from Renegade as well. We could add more of them down on this panel, so I'll kind of keep that in mind. Dual awnings will be standard as well. Two-piece rear cap here on the back. The idea is if you damaged it, you could ship this smaller piece in it's a type of a UPS-able item. This whole assembly is set up at 30,000 with the 2 5/16. You'd have to remove all that and do a mini fifth wheel to go up to 40, which most of our customers are not pullers. They just, with the evolution or with the evolution of the corporate structure in the diesel pusher world, we're getting so many buyers that are basically crossing over from diesel pushers into these trucks. It just makes more sense. Drivability, and I think they're more well-built units. I can definitely tell you that the guys that assemble these are doing a better job than a lot of the diesel pushers, in my opinion. So short cord right there. We do have a 50 amp buddy plug on the inside transfer switch that does have a surge protector built in, and it will also let you know your incoming voltage and amp draw as well. 12.5 Onan generator is standard, the largest RVIA compliant generator available on the market. Standard lights right there. Wet bay here. The only option with this within this setup right here is the macerator pump. With the Aqua 600, it has a third zone, and so it's a dedicated zone to be able to run the hydronic heater in there. We can always take and add an additional register in this guy, but you do have some flow through, so we work in relatively cold environments. So 75-gallon gray, 75-gallon black. See that there. And then this is definitely something we were proud of, to be able to kind of just utilize the most amount of space and have the AquaHot 600 over here. Because of the slide system, basically you have the Schwintek on this side, hydraulic on the other side. Just don't have enough room to be able to accommodate the AquaHot on the right-hand side on this floor plan. Now on the 45 dBm, it basically flips all the way around. So 120-gallon fuel tank. In this chassis, it was able to turn the fuel tank up just a little bit, accommodate a little bit more fuel. So are a little bit nicer. These are people that have heard me speak about the seats. These are the upgraded ISRI. They are not turning pedestals. They are heated and cooled, and all the features are relatively easy to access. If a person had to have these recovered, I'm certain we could probably recover them. There'd be some major expense involved in getting those things recovered. I just like the way they drive, sit. Aesthetically, the Villa seats they put in the XLs, they look nicer, but you can't access any of this stuff. And it's just, they're a pretty look. I don't think they're good on the back. That's my personal opinion. It's the reason why I like that ISRI seat. 18,000-pound front axle on it. It does have the 360 cam, so your front cam, your side cams, and your rear cam all integrate. Not quite as smooth as what you would expect in your automotive world. But even, the other day I noticed we were in one of our cars that had in fact, we were in that Volvo rent car, and when we were next to something, it was kind of shortening up things next to it. So a lot of those similarities in the 360 cams will be shared from this down to automotive world. So the drawer step basically is standard on all the XLs. Solid surface entry there. So we'll come in. I always like to kind of shoot the inside what you would see while you're driving up and down the road. So I can still get here. I can wash my hands. I can do dishes. I can get to my TV, get to any storage that I might need to get to, including the refrigerator. So I can still open this. It's very, very edge there, but I can get any kind of drink out while I'm driving, or while you're driving. So the big picture windows, I just think, obviously we read the comments and people say, why would you put the seating on this side? And it's like, everybody kind of has their own preference. A lot of places, aren't the conventional RV campground. A lot of people like to have them on this side. Some people want to have them on this side. So you just kind of pick basically the 43 dB versus the 45 dBm. They're both great floor plans. Essentially, when this gets reversed around, this is no longer a storage cabinet in the 45 dBm, but we've built them with storage cabinets. So everybody kind of has their preference. One thing, if this was my coach, I would want more window here if I'm staring out that side. I kind of like having the seating over here looking out, but you probably, one size doesn't fit all for people. So that's the nice thing about having these two different floor plans, whether you need the storage, whether you want your windows this side or that side, but I do like being able to see out. Generally, you see any of the higher end, 4Travels, Newells, they have big monstrous windows. So from 24 to 25, they went from 48-inch wide window to a 54-inch wide window, and then of course this is the optional 36-inch tall. These are opening windows down on each side of the slide, so you still have a little bit of cross breeze through here. And just, like I said, just a matter of preference. It does have the Cambria quartz, just for kind of a higher end look. It's much, I would say, a little more robust than the LG solid surface they use in the Classics and some of the other lines. We've talked about stacking an edge there, just kind of give it that a little bit more home type look. But oddly enough, I've been paying more attention, and we just came back from Ireland. It was a great vacation, and we saw more, this type style, so more simplistic. There's no wrong or right to what design and style is, but I did see several of the countertops there, just basically a little bit thinner. So all Villa furniture. This does have a fixed dinette. The quartz is a little bit heavier than what you would get with the LG solid surface, so it needs to be fixed. And this does have optional theater seats. This is Villa, and it is true leather all the way through and through. And then all of the inserts here are a wood as opposed to a fabric. So there again, just kind of a matter of preference. They've picked some more neutral fabrics without any kind of patterns that aren't kind of in your face. It's there again, more aesthetically pleasing. So 3 ACs will be standard. The color on all this will be standard all the way across the product line. They did a good job at integrating these colors to any of the stain. This is a Cape Cod stain. This has been our #1 stain for the XL line. It's just a little bit more light and vibrant, so people have really preferred this stain right here. I'll flip-flop around. You can see decent room. Well, more just to be able to see. Just to be able to see, you have big room here. I can get to anything I need to get to. Probably the biggest difference, the 45 dBm, because of the rear cap versus like your Classic, this gets a little bit narrow right here. So they reconfigured this bathroom. So if you're a bigger person or just want wider, this is going to be a huge difference between the 45 dBm. I would probably say at least 4 to 6 inches taken out of this if you were comparing it to the 45 dBm. So I can obviously get through here regardless of what unit it is, but this has a more open feel, so just kind of a matter of preference. So I'm going to run some of the slide outs out. So this is hydraulic, so you'll see it shoot out relatively quick. Throughout time, the Firefly systems have, sometimes they would accommodate more than one slide at a time, but no longer. They don't want to overload any of the circuitry within that. So it's been probably 6-8 months since we've having any of the Schwintek issues. Basically, we were having some clearance issues at the time that were allowing the kitchen slides to walk out. Knock on wood, we've had pretty darn good luck here lately. We haven't had any slides walk. That's something we can easily fix there at the dealership, but anytime we've seen one, obviously it's between here and when it gets to Texas, so it's something we obviously jump on very rapidly. Run the rear slide out, so there's Schwintek as well. We really don't have any issues with those rear slides. I think there's a lot of kind of fear mongering in regards to the Schwintek. A lot of the issues we see with Schwintek with other manufacturers is they can't seem to produce a square hole. Is that a little critical? Open this guy right here, bore you guys with Running the slide outs out. So all solid maple. Of course, if you're looking at a Renegade video, you probably already know about it. So dovetail construction. On the XL, it's all chrome hardware, so they do the sinks as well. Kind of bring in, have the 2 plugs there in the backslash, and they did listen from kind of, we had voiced some complaints on, they just had some, I didn't think it was the best layout of the kitchen, and I think this is a much better layout right here. We will take and move the subwoofer back behind that cabinet there. That's something so easy for us to do. Now, this is a storage setup right here, and the idea on there, again, I don't know if they were just already planning it, but I like a home for things. I gotta take it home and go home. So it makes it nice to be able to put some of these items up versus just shove them in a drawer somewhere and hear them banging around. So just kind of preference there. But I think anytime you can utilize space better, everybody wins. It really doesn't cost any more from a manufacturer's standpoint, but it shows the manufacturer that you do care. You try to make things better for the consumer to be able to put their items in their things. So Samsung refrigerator, this is the bespoke. The idea back behind here is a little bit higher end. I wasn't a fan of this originally. Shauna Lee told me I was wrong because she likes this area right here. She didn't have to open it all up to be able to get some more readily used or more items that she uses on a regular basis. So the locks are still kind of a pain to me a little bit. That will never come open. We'll have to give them an outdoor cooler for their. So anyway, fiberglass cap is of course standard on the XL. No option for any kind of a bunk over. It's pretty wild to open this because back in the day, like 2019, whenever we first started dealing with Renegade, that was like their control command center. And you open this up now, and it's just the override for these. There's a little bit of storage in there. Nothing like it used to be. It does have the Starlink. There is a PepWave router on this as well. I'll take this back. It's not the PepWave router, but basically it's a 4G router, and it works a lot better with the remote login system for the Firefly. Gotta remember the name of it. Can I remember it? Anyway, I've had it in my other videos. I'm just kind of coming out on a blank on it right now. So we talked about the cab seats. There again, they don't bother me not matching the interior. You know, you look at a lot of the Sprinters, you look at a lot of the units, you look at a lot of the high-end, like Prevos, they'll use a really high-end seat here and not the Barca Lounger type setup. So 360 cams are standard, and then a lot of guys like to have either a trailer camera or a camera for their ball mount, and so this is a camera and GPS. So I don't bring my chassis in with any kind of GPS, so all the Renegade chassis had GPS here, which people really didn't utilize. Your Carmen is here, and it is updatable versus the TomTom. Had to go back to Freightliner dealer. They looked at like you were from outer Mars, outer space, whenever you told them to upgrade your TomTom GPS, because no one was really doing it. So I think this is a far better option. Like I said, this is the factory deflate and overinflate, just to be able to kind of help out if you're going through a low spot. I think that's a major deal to be able to have on these units. And they relocate some of the wireless CarPlay here. I'm sorry, the wired CarPlay there. So heated tile floors throughout. You do have storage on each side. Kind of tiny drawers. I wish they were a little bit wider drawers, but storage is storage. And then, got a little, what are you going to put in there? Your chocolates. So this is basically set in a little bit for the outdoor TV. Dual handles became standard. This is an option right here, but nice storage overhead, and that's your controls for your awnings overhead there. Should I open up more of this just so people can see it, because it's a stock unit. All the shelving is convertible so they can move around. So there again, they did a good job here. This is not something new, but they've done it for quite some time. They have several floor plans to kind of mimic this in other units, but you can look at all that room back there. If you buy one of these and you know you put something in a cabinet and can't find it, it's back there, all the way back there, guaranteed. So now we're going to go into the bathroom. So decent size setup right here, nice window. Be able to greet everybody outside. We'll have convertible shelving in there, but all really nice hardware. So your plumbing for your slide is actually back in there. That's the reason why that's fixed. Just really want to open it. See the plumbing tab? Can you see that? Don't drop the phone in there, we'll never find it. So, nice little half bath here. Big, big, big pantry. They've done an excellent job the last few years doing several drawers within this. And yes, you can put your hominy here. I mean, lots of them. Small cans, big cans. Plenty of room in the pantry. So electrical up top, basically Firefly there. And then all of our 110 right there. Stacked washer dryer. Now we did one the other day where we did just a single washer dryer. We've accommodated some doors. I'm boycotting these doors and trying to get a different setup to be able to have some vertical, basically just more of a refined looking door. So out back here, there again, this was something we really pushed for. So they started this, I guess, 2 years ago, which I think is genius. I think it's a great idea. I like to push it a little bit further and say, I'm not going to have my tuxedo with tails right there, but right here. And I can put my crop tops here, on my crop tops here, and be able to utilize this, put my socks and underwear on each one of those. Maybe t-shirts, but I just think it's a better use of space. I was really happy to see these drawers. We will see if it sticks as a standard, but I think it's a great idea just to be able to have more space because people aren't utilizing that much hanging places anymore. They generally need more stuff to fold. Another big push here was instead of doing the AV door, just doing a solid cabinet there. You still have all your AV stuff there. All the stuff can be tied to the back of the cabinet. Most people are streaming at this day and age. Now, one thing we've done, people have said, you know, I want to take it a step further, and I want to put shelving in there to be able to utilize that as a linen closet. So, really, kind of your only limitation is your imagination and your pocketbook as well. So drawers there underneath. Oh, this is another thing. Found all these great things about this motorhome. I don't know why I don't buy it, right? Well, car salesman is. So, king size bed. So, I wouldn't say I've got chicken legs. I wouldn't say I've got fat legs, but I do have manly legs. But maybe your legs are bigger than mine, Charlie. So anyway, king size bed. So it's a little tight in there. I think if Shawnee had to make the bed more than once a week, she might strangle me. But, you know, the mattress can be pulled up. I mean, to me, if we got rid of the pillows, that would be half the battle right there. So it's a king-size bed, so it's a 72-inch wide bed as opposed to a 66-inch wide bed. One thing that you know, we did in the past is we basically would cut these down to accommodate a wider bed. They went through there and basically kind of tapered that, your nightstands. So you still have those nightstands. You do have your 110s and USBs within that. If it was really tight, she'd be angry with me if she had a really robust fitted sheet that she has to throw over the top of that. But I just think that most people prefer a 72-inch wide bed as opposed to a 66-inch wide bed, especially if you have dogs that like to sleep in bed with you. So this is a king-size bed. Still have the same amount of storage over the head, and then you do have automatic window shades on each side of the bed and at the head of the bed as well. Let's come around back. Nice adjustable shelves there in that cabinet. Do have a drawer. And then decent storage underneath there. We continue on with the Cambria quartz. Nice big mirror here. Lighted mirror. We do have some lights up top. And then we just did the standard shower. So 24 to 25. They had a little bit different insert on it, and then they've basically gone with this tile right here, which I think is a nice classy look to it. This particular setup right here uses a fair amount of water, but you can have a great shower. I've been told numerous times that it's the most wonderful shower Shawnee's ever had in a motorhome, so we're sticking with it, but we basically, we run the shower miser setup. The only thing that's a little bit different is in general we have to do the shower miser on one particular option here. So if you're trying to conserve water, we can generally do it on this guy right here, and then recycle that water back into the tank if you're boondocking. So kind of keep that in mind. But lots of different options in regards to the showers of stuff we can and can't do. Do want to open up or pull the bed up, should I say, just for kind of more information. So the base itself is a little bit wider, so that's the reason why you see more room in there than what would be standard. You do have your water pump, you do have your 2 automatic registers on each side of the bed. Do have some inspection spots like basically right down there to look underneath the shower itself. So they do make these coaches very, very serviceable. Nothing that I was happy to see. So previous units basically had a magnet along the wall, and sometimes those magnets would pull out, and then you had this thing that didn't allow the door to go back, and it was a giant pain in the rear. So these guys right here, and that is your lock and setup. I went too far. So there's a screw there that's supposed to be set further down to keep idiots from doing that. That's something that will, so it should just stop right there. We'll make sure that screw is recentered there. And then this still does have the magnet on the back side of it, just because it's a little bit wider hallway than what you would have seen in the 45 dBm. So all in all, I like everything about it. I think it was really cool to be able to integrate all these different ideas. We basically, storage compartment layout was deviated. This chassis right here is a little bit different than what you would normally see on the other units out on the market. More lights on the outside was a big benefit. Of course, 25 and newer with the optional wood inserts, a little bit better storage, king size bed, drawers below. There's a lot of cool stuff to this motorhome that has only made the product better. Obviously people are going to use these ideas. It is fun to be able to kind of pioneer some of these ideas and share it with, because everybody benefits. At the end of the day, you come up with cool things, neat things. People get excited about these things. We're definitely not in the need business. We're in the want business, and it's cool to be able to make these kind of dreams come to reality for people. So it's always a really cool thing to be in this business and to see people really get excited about the motorhomes. We always appreciate you guys watching these videos. This coach will be on the website probably later on tonight or in the morning. We'll get the video here just shortly. Today is November 18th. So we'll get it up on the web. We'll be headed back to Texas first thing in the morning. So if anybody wants to come out and take a look over the holidays, let us know. We'll have some limited hours, but you can always reach my cell phone, or you can reach the dealership via email. So we'll make sure we share some really cool photos and some additional information on this coach. Make sure you guys like, tag, and subscribe.